Eastern wisdom says that we should learn from our own experiences. We are making a journey. I have picked up the preparatory text. So when we pick up the preparatory text, we understand the fundamentals. And these fundamentals clears not only the concept, but it also helps us to change our day-to-day living. And that is what we want. Because day-to-day living gives us an experience. So it gives a very strong background to learn from our experiences. Learn from our experiences that we get at the physical level, at the mental level, at the intellectual level. So we have to learn from our experiences. That is all about Eastern wisdom. But what these masters have done that when we learn from every experience, uh, we should find out what is real and what is unreal. That is the simplest way to explain it. You are watching a movie. You see that you have an experience. The actor, hero is doing a good work. Villain is evil. Actor is killing the villain, and ultimately, uh, the story ends. Everything is good. But I forget. No, I also have a horror experience, an experience of emotions. But what is real in it? We never think about it. What is real? Behind that movie, there is nothing. There is only a TV screen. That is real. On that TV screen, everything is happening. The hero appears, the villain appears, the actor appears, then there is a story. But fact is that same way, everything appears in the consciousness. Everything appears on the consciousness. That is what the learning from experience is. But nothing happens to the consciousness. Have you seen in the movie there is a fight going on? The car jumps couple of feet, the blood is coming out, but nothing happens to the TV screen. Are you getting it? Say yes. And nothing happens to the TV screen. The same thing, nothing happens to that consciousness. That is what we are searching. But to gain an experience, we have to do the karma. We come back to the same topic of karma yoga. Karma yoga leads us to an experience. So, what is happening here in this principle of Eastern wisdom? That we are doing the karma, whatever is given to us and whatever we are doing. We change the software. Hardware is the same outside. I'm saying good morning to you in the same way, but the inner software has to change. So that makes the karma yoga in our daily life. So when we perform this karma yoga, we can ask that what happens? What happens? So our master says it purifies the mind, it keeps your cool and the calm. You start living beyond the ego. You keep your mind calm, relaxed, and poised. You separate yourself from the cause and effect of the world. Are you getting it? Cause and effect. You prevent unwanted, unwelcome thoughts in the mind. You see, that is there. These are wonderful benefits of the karma yoga. Not only it purifies the mind, it leaves your mind relaxed, calm, and poised. You start living beyond the ego. It prevents unwanted, unwelcome, uninvited thoughts in the mind. It manages your anxiety, hesitation, duality, conflict, and confusion. And we come very near to the existence. That is why we need to do the. Everyone is doing the karma yoga. Everyone doing karma. Karma is a necessary evil. We cannot live without karma. So masters are saying that can we change the software? Can we change the very intention? Can we change what is happening in the mind while performing the karma yoga? Do you see that karma is a necessary evil? One hand. And the life is action, action is life. We cannot live without doing karma. So it is showing a path how to bring that mindfulness or a state of meditation, or you can say a state of awakening in our daily life. There, the role of karma yoga is great. Mind is prompting us to do an action all the time. The moment we wake up in the morning until we sleep, even sleep is an action. So you see that the moment I become aware before doing the karma and I ask myself what is the right and a good thought, what is the good and right attitude of the mind to perform the karma, you save yourself from unwanted, unnecessary struggle in your life. In any action, you're doing a personal life, professional action, physical, mental, emotional. So, what is happening? You are filtering out unnecessary, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts from the mind before you are performing an action. So, now let us go a little deeper. So, when we say karma, we say in the mind, we should not have an attitude that I am the doer. How come? Because eyes is not me, I see you. Lips are not me, I am teaching you. Huh? The heart, the entire body, mind, intellect, they are not me. Ego is built on associating these instruments. So, ego makes me very selfish, limited. So, I drop that. Second part in the karma yoga is that I do karma for the sake of evolving myself. Let me express myself in the teaching, for example, to help you evolve and help myself to evolve to a next level of awareness. So I drop the very habitual, instinctive, and the impulsive mind. They are always going deeper and deeper. I want to make it clear. Perhaps in the next session, we will take about what are the other benefits of doing the karma yoga. You'll be amazed. So you see that ego and the very selfishness causes my mind restless. agitated. It even prevents me listening and learning. It takes the mind hostage, creates a serious problem in my day to day living. And hence the surgery is required, and that surgery is karma. Think of this. The more you think of it, you wake up in the morning, consciously think how you have to greet your honey. And the first thing that comes to the impure mind, ah, he or she is not listening to me. How should I do it? No. So that is the ego point, and you change your attitude. You have to live with. You have to perform a karma. Whether you are planning to have another honey, you have to do the karma. You cannot escape it. So why not change my attitude? Are you getting it? Say yes. Why
Yes.
don't you change your attitude? Yes. So when we understand it clearly, we have understood that every karma is caused by the desire. Every karma. Karma has a desire element. What we say, the intention, etc., etc. So we are going deeper from here. What is that deeper aspect? If by default karma is guided by the tamasic attitude, have you heard about three gunas, the tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic? The sattvic guna is totally full of knowledge, clarity. Rajasic guna, constant wandering, agitated activity. Tamasic guna is inertia. It is made up of, by default, it is made up of anger and hesitation. By default. If you have heard about the three gunas, Satoguna is the highest, made up of the knowledge, clarity is there. I have to go to the kitchen. This is also an action. So I know the path, I have an attitude, I go there. So knowledge, right knowledge. The Rajasic Guna makes the person highly anxious, agitated activity part. Tamasic Guna is inner. By default, this Tamasic Guna brings anger and hesitation. We say that, I'm very sorry, it was a fit of an anger, and I'm sorry, it should not have come. No, because that very action is done by the tamasic guna. Now, how to translate that into day to day living? My master used to give it that any action performed by the tamasic state of the mind is illicit, illegitimate. What is illegitimate? It is supported by anxiety, anger, and hesitation. So majority of our teachings do not talk about anger. It says your desire is colored by the tamasic attitude. It will manifest in anger. It will manifest in destruction. And the rajasic, it will manifest, it will make you constantly wandering. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts will enter into your mind. The rajasic attitude of the mind demands power. Stephen, you're getting it where I'm trying. It demands power, it demands money, it demands an authority. Unless I change all my actions to the sattvic, you simply change your attitude. You need not to worry about your anger, anxiety, confusion. Everything changes. Life. So now see the other reference we have been talking about, the impurity of the mind in terms of the karma yoga. If the impurity of the mind is gone completely, what is the intense, deepest impurity of the mind? Where is the deepest impurity of the mind, or you can say the intense? It is likes and dislikes. The likes and dislikes causes desire, anger, greed, egoism, and reaction, and a host of other problems. So what we were talking about the karma yoga. So I'm performing the karma yoga with a sattvic attitude of the mind. You need not to manage your anger. We don't talk about it. We talk about the root cause of it. So the deepest, or you can say the strongest, I think I'm making myself clear. I'm not finding a right adjective. The impurity is very deep. That is caused by the raga and dvesha. The raga dvesha holds on to the ego and seeking the fruits of an action. And then we perform the karma yoga. The attitude of the mind is full of knowledge instead of hyperactivity or hypoactivity. Otherwise, you see what happens. You are doing some work and you fail in that. Then you don't want to do it. You become totally inactive, lethargic. And then again, something prompts you, you put yourself into an action. That is what, like a pendulum. Either you move on one side, extreme one side, or the other side. You do not stay in the middle. So the extreme impurity of the mind is caused by the raga and the dvesha. It causes the attachment and detachment that results into desire. Now that desire is supported by the ego that I must achieve this. If I don't achieve, I am frustrated. If I achieve, I have more greediness. And the journey continues. A vicious circle is created. So, in the journey of awakening and realization, this extreme impurity has to be done away with. The second level of impurity, second level of problem is mind is constantly wandering. Wandering is different from the impurity. Do you see that sometimes you don't have a dislike and likes, and still the mind is jumping from one thought to the other, and it is draining our innards. Do you see that? Have you experienced? No, why my mind is wandering? It is jumping from one thought to the other. So this is a very second level of impurity, distraction. So before we awaken to the higher consciousness, these two, one is the impurity, other the distraction, has to be, must go. So that, sometimes people say that why I'm not able to progress in meditation, the journey of meditation, it is because of these two reasons. So the entire understanding of this Eastern wisdom with reference to the impurity of the mind, impurity of the mind is due to the wrong notion. I have a wrong notion in the mind. That causes the wrong karma and prevents me to do the right karma in my daily life. Think again and again. So you reflect on it and it will become clear. We have a wrong notion about the world, we do not suffer. I have a wrong notion about myself, I will suffer. Do you see? This world is crazy. Okay, let it be crazy. I am crazy, then I will suffer. You see, there the role of the karma yoga is great. No, no, I cannot live with you. So then I'm suffering. I hate you, I'm suffering. You see, that is a wrong notion about myself. Why should I hate or jealous or anger, or agitation? Leave the world as it is. So that brings us to the same question. Ask yourself how many times you were upset during the last couple of days since the last session. Physically, mentally, emotionally. We reacted physically, emotionally, mentally. That defines the purity and the impurity of the mind. I'm not talking that you should stop eating this, you should eat this. I'm not saying that you should wear a particular dress. What I'm asking you that do you recognize how many times you were upset during the last 3 days living your life? Your mind must remind you when you are near a swimming pool, the water does not sink you. You make a mistake and then you can fall into the river or the swimming. One is angry over you. Now apply the same logic. Apply the same logic. One is angry over you. So he or she does not allow you to be angry. You are caught by his anger. You are influenced. Why? Because I did not have the right and the proper attitude of the mind. Are you getting it? I don't have. I lost it. I either my mind went and became rajasic, overactive, and or hypoactive. How many times? I also discussed that a spark that we realize, that ray of light, that consciousness lives in you all the time. It easily gets away with that ego and the desire for fruits of the action. So that brings me to the same statement. Are we living wisely? Examine, my friends, examine good karma with a negative attitude, wrong karma with the right attitude. Good karma with a negative attitude. Wrong karma with the. I told you I became angry only because you are wrong. What I have to do whether you are right or wrong karma with right attitude. My attitude is right. I'm trying to prove that I'm right. Look at those small bites of knowledge that helps us from entering into unwanted, unnecessary struggle in our life. That is what these masters are teaching. I'm recalling if I'm, anything is left about the karma yoga during the last, I think, five or possibly 10 sessions. So you see, the first is the extreme impurity of the mind, constantly bombarded. We allow the mind to be subjected by the strong likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment in the mind causes the desire, builds the ego, and then we are performing all our actions based on the ego, the extreme impurity of the mind it covers, as if the horror film is going on. And I enjoy that horror. That's why I am watching the horror film. But I forget the reality TV screen. It is only a TV screen. Do you see that? If you see that, you will see that your mind expands. Unwanted thought goes away. So that is the extreme level of impurity. The second level is the distraction. The mind still have, it causes lot of wandering. You don't have a likes and dislikes, but still the mind is wandering. We are going to talk about that after we understand. After we understand the benefits of the karma yoga. So we have to get rid of unwanted, unnecessary distraction. Even in distractions of the mind, the wandering nature of the mind has to be regulated. Are you clear about? One is the extreme impurity. Second is the distractions. When these two are gone, you listen to these principles and you are awakened. Then the real journey of Eastern wisdom begins. And then we will pick up any Upanishad based on the teaching. We will pick up the Upanishad traditionally picked up by our masters. There are 10 principal Upanishads. 108 Upanishads are there, but we'll pick up only one out of the 10. And then we will go deeper. As you listen, so you are awakening to the higher consciousness. But unless these distraction must go and this extreme impurity must go. So to get away with the impurity, we have understood the karma yoga. And I always ask you a same question. Are you? How many times you were upset, anxious? Your mind will say other is to blame. Then again, there is a problem. Then find out it is because of the ego, it is because of the intention I had, it is because of my limitedness of the mind. And the moment you start thinking, your mind will say, why what the heck? Why you're fighting? Withdraw yourself. Withdraw. Become aware. You are happy. You're happy. You live into that state. You will realize that. That is also an action. Okay, close your eyes. Let us start our journey. Eyes are closed. And I know you know what I'm going to say, being comfortable. So you know it. No, but you have to learn from your experience being comfortable. I think I explained being comfortable maybe more than 100 ways. You see that we forget those 100 ways because of the distraction of the mind. And that is what we have to work on, that distraction in our following session. So I make it very simple, which I have repeated many a times. And from the simple, you go to the deeper. Move the mind on the neck joint. First, you sit in any posture which is easy and comfortable for you. You align all the joints of the body so that your mind does not complain during the entire journey. And then move the mind on the neck joint. Be there, feel the sensation. comfort, and steadiness. I have been using these three words: sensation. Without awareness, I cannot feel it. Comfort, without awareness, I cannot be comfortable. These are experiences: sensation, comfort, and there is also an experience of steadiness. I recall that some of you has picked up when I said it is the steadiness in the body. It is not the steadiness of the body. In early days, I explained that steadiness in the body pertains to the real self, because the real self is unchanging, all pervading. I made such a simple, and some of you has really shared that experience. So your mind is aware of the steadiness which is natural, not holding the body, making an effort, trying to force the body to be still. It can never be still. And you are already deeper. The mind goes to the shoulder joints. So now you see how you move from the lower to the higher awareness. Casual awareness of the shoulder joints, lower. Then you feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness higher. And then you move to the emptiness or the space, still higher. As if while watching a movie on the TV, you are looking at the screen does not change. It is such a great experience. You're out of all your actions. Ego prevents you not to get out of the action. That is the key. So I told you in the beginning that software needs to be changed. So the entire body, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You enjoy, simply you enjoy. You see, such a simple way. And being carefree. I think that too I have explained in many ways. Why we explain in many ways so that your mind receives in a particular way. Carefree, free from all the cares of the mind, yes. Okay. So, how the mind cares? By unwanted, unwelcome, uninvited thoughts in the mind. But I simply become aware they do not belong to me. So, I am cutting the knots of these uninvited thoughts, which has a corresponding impression stored in my mind for so many years. Why? Because of lack of karma yoga. You see, I'm joining the dots so that you should be very clear. Karma accumulates all the impressions. Cause and effect relationship continues. Karma yoga cuts the knot of accumulated impressions. Oh, so now here practical application that I see, watch, observe. The thoughts are coming and going. I'm not trying to control, because if I control, wrong attitude. Oh, leave it. Let it come, let it go. Now see. Not at all worried, concerned, pleased by any thought that enters into your mind. Why I'm not a thought? Now, another way to understand being carefree. So, we are in an extraordinary awareness to experience these thoughts are separate from me. Why? A single thought accepted by your mind will create an ego in the mind itself. If you claim it is yours, I am frustrated, ego. I am happy, ego. Now you see how profound the step is. Oh my goodness. We start enjoying a sense of freedom even now. And then what we do in a traditional, I told you, the traditional journey, we pick up any mantra. So we have picked up a mantra. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So I'm not fighting with those thoughts. I'm saying these are my thoughts, not the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Wait, I'm going to change the practice, but let you absorb. Your mind should absorb completely. Let there be a well being for all. And again, I have explained the mantra in a different way. You just contemplate and reflect in your mind. So you have a series of the thoughts. What is that? Oh, well being is a common factor. Well being is sought by every living species on this earth planet. We don't know about other planets, including me. So it has to exist. It has to exist everywhere. Now see what happens to the mind. You're learning from your experience. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Ego says, I want peace for myself. Non-ego state of the mind seeks, realizes the peace is a common factor. If you are in peace, I am in peace, we all world is in peace. They already understood from the ant to the elephant to the tiger to the human being to even to the plants because they have some sensation. They have a life, so they have a sensation. And behind that sensation, there is a consciousness, and that consciousness is of the nature of peace. Hence, we all are seeking peace, common factor. It's not that we humans are siblings. I'm throwing another thought. It's not only that, my friends. Every plant, every animal, everything in one way our sibling. Why you are using this thought to crush the ego? You don't fight with it. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness for all. Ask your pet, do you feel a sense of incompleteness? They don't care. The way the existence has given them the birth, since the birth until they die, they are complete. We feel the sense of incompleteness from the birth until the death. And in incompleteness pulls me to do the karma with the wrong attitude, then the cause and effect relationship, and the mind gets filled with the impurities. So our master says, you are complete in itself the way the mango tree is, the way the ant is, the way the tiger is. They never fight for a sense of completeness. And once we have that sense of completeness, peace and well-being. So what happens to our life from moment to moment? It is filled with an auspiciousness. I have restricted myself to this. We will also understand the auspiciousness has a link to our blessing and a grace. So we will understand that what exactly is the blessing and the grace of the existence in our life. Can we live constantly in that state? You have these thoughts guided by the principles of Eastern wisdom, and you have uninvited, unwelcome thoughts hypnotized our mind coming from the modern day living, causes constant anxiety, duality, conflict. But we are not done with. Look inside the heart. You are separating completely. Om Shanti. Start breathing quick and fast. And keep the body steady. You already know it, what we are doing. Clear. You're clear about it, my friends. And that's why we have been repeating this again and again. Just continue. I did this practice at least today for 15 minutes. Now, you'll not be doing for 15 minutes, but just continue. Don't worry about the time. Learn from your experience. If the mind objects, become aware it's an objection of the mind and continue doing it. Om Shanti continues. Just continue. And my friends, stop this, start breathing deep, silent, and slow. Moving the mind from the crown of the head inside the spine to the tailbone, singing mentally. Om Shanti. You see, in quick and a short breath, it was Shanti was a shorter. Here it is a longer. And every time we exhale, the mind moves from the tailbone to the crown of the head in the space within. And I already gave a metaphor to make you understand. The car, the driver, the highway, Shanti takes care of the breath, the body, the space within is the mind, the space the mind is driving in the highway. It is aware of it, and then you have enough time to drop the Om Shanti. Om Shanti. You may say that breathing and the mantra helps us to remove that extreme impurity, and here we are taking care of the mind to avoid any distractions. And you will find out the body doesn't want to move. You have a deepening of the sensations all around the body. Maybe sometime it freezes, you feel hot and cold. They all are good experiences to tell you that the mind is going deeper. And continue Om Shanti. So you are aware, Om Shanti, that Om is the real self, is the screen. Shanti is the manifestation, and ultimately they appear in the form of the deep silence, so breathing, steadiness in the body. Almost we are in a different level of awareness. Here also you can see our karma, our action is done with the right attitude, with the right knowledge, with the right understanding, and that is why we are getting a result. Now stop this nyasa, also move the mind inside the cave of your heart, singing Om, as if singing Om takes your mind deep inside. The mind, when it appears as if it is stopped, you drop the Shanti. Check the mind is absorbed completely, not carried away by any of your experiences. It remains absorbed. It's good. Some thought distracts you, no issue. That is an opportunity. Forward. Move the mind again inside the cave of your heart. You see that mind is extremely aware, extraordinary aware. Thought comes, it is an opportunity. It doesn't come, you are already absorbed. I'm with you, I keep quiet. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside, know your experiences. Bring the hands down, and we will share our experiences. So, how are you, Stephen?
I have to say I struggled a little bit during this meditation, and not for anything. I think that was bad, upsetting, or wrong. But I had an experience during this Sarve Sham that I was deep in a deep dark space, and all of a sudden I had this vision. Which again, as soon as I saw the vision, I was like, okay, my mind is doing something to me. But it was me sitting in the exact position I'm in, talking to myself, almost as a reflection in a mirror. And I myself was telling myself that an argument can only take place if you choose to engage. So don't engage with the ego.
Yes.
And I spent the rest of my meditation thinking about that whole experience and was battling back and forth. This, okay, forget about that. We'll talk about that later, and try to settle in. And that was where my challenge existed. Other than that, I'm pretty calm.
Yeah. You're right. You see that impurity was not there, but the distraction was there. And one of the main job of this ego is to distract you from the reality. Why? The ego will die. Once we find the real self, the ego will constantly die. It will be used as an instrument. At present, it is being used as a master. It is acting as a master. But it's a beautiful way to understand and explain it. That's wonderful. So, how are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. Glad to be back. It was a very peaceful, wonderful, quiet, easy experience. Other
Good.
than we've been having internet problems this morning, and there was this gap of silence, so I opened my eyes to see if you were moving.
Yeah.
And then I went right back into meditation when I saw you move. So it was, it was very good.
It was very good. Excellent. Yes, it's a progressing. So, how are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. Meditation was very deep. I feel like the lesson kind of summed everything up into if we really know our true nature and we don't have any doubt, we don't question it, and we also see that everyone else is exactly the same, And that's where the mantra comes in for me, is if we really do believe that and we have faith in that, and then we're able to live from that point, then we do live wisely, and we do trust that we'll know exactly, there's nothing to do. We just live from that place.
Beautiful. Either you say you are living wisely, that brings us to the same state of awareness, whether you are doing karma yoga, so that also brings you to the same state of awareness. Or you are absorbed into the mantra, that also brings you to the same state of awareness. And the life becomes so beautiful. To make the life beautiful is the goal of meditation. Meditation is not just to relax and calm down, check some physiological changes and biochemical changes. That's a beginning. Beautiful. How are you, Rakesh?
Thank you, sir. Sir, it was just like any other day. I was absorbed totally and very peaceful and very relaxed.
Very good. Don't forget to apply these principles in your life, because action is life, life is action. It's very important. But if we do not apply, what will happen? The ego will create a dual personality. One personality, oh, I know what meditation is. Outside, I know what reaction is.
Hmm?
So we have to be. So sometimes people say, no, it's not working. No, it's not working because you do not understand. You are not doing the practice clearly. How are you, Anastasia?
Thank you. I'm good. Today my mind was wandering. My friend brought me some news, so I had a lot of thoughts just before a lesson, but I could separate myself from these thoughts, and when I noticed my body, I felt like the blood was moving inside. I think it was prana or something like that,
Yeah.
because it was very interesting first time experiencing like that.
Yeah, two things. You see that we all are becoming aware how to separate thoughts that enters during the practice in meditation. That is what everyone talked about in a different way. Why not separate these thoughts when they come during day-to-day living from moment to moment? And the moment you are able to separate, you will see how deeper the state of calmness is. Beautiful. How are you? Terry, I don't see you. Terry is in the meantime, Ashok, how are you?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, doing good and peaceful, calm, and applying the karma yoga during the daytime as well,
Very good.
and remembering the spark in the heart uh, that will
Yeah, yeah,
that will give the light to the ignorance whenever
yeah.
come. So I mean, it is progressing for the day.
Progressing. Beautiful. Beautiful. How are you, Vaibhav?
Sir, I'm good. It was calm, totally absorbed.
Totally absurd. Terry, I'm waiting for you if you are listening to me so you can come back, share your experiences. But to see that, now I think Jerry has summarized it beautifully. Karma yoga first beginning is I have to check my mind level of awareness. So if I combine the experience of Stephen, so I can recognize that pointer of ego. Oh, it was trying to control. And there we can have a right attitude, right state of the mind. Then another point that we discussed today are the three gunas. So pendulum, one side is the rajasic guna, hyperactivity, and the other side is hypoactivity. Our modern psychiatrists, they have two types of medication. So those mental patients who are hyperactive, they give the medication which is commonly known as put me down. Have you heard about it? Or those who move into, sometimes they are totally lethargic, they don't want to talk to anyone. So they have a medication, put me up. Put me up, put me down. Both are supported by the ego. And Karma Yoga removes that ego. So that is all for today. We'll meet again. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Namaste.
Jai Gurudev. Namaste, everyone.